In this video, I'd like to show you the Soos Creek Trail located in King County, Washington State. The trail is entirely paved and meanders through several different types of habitats. You have forest, open spaces, marsh, and finally swamp, where the trail is actually raised concrete. It runs for about 7 miles paralleling the Soos Creek. Located here is a park with a fairly nice child's playground. If you're a bird watcher, located here is a blue heron rookery. That's where you'll find 30 to 40 herons that are nesting in late March to early April. It's primarily flat with the exception of 2 hills, one at each end of the trail. We'll be starting in the parking lot at the south end of the trail. To speed things up a little bit, I mounted a GoPro on top of my head and hopped on my bicycle. Let's start pedaling. The dirt trail you see off to the right is for horses. The trail does cross a couple of roads. The first crossing you'll come to is just a residential road to a couple of houses. Remember those 2 steep hills I told you about? Well, here's where you'll find the first one. If you're on a bicycle, you'll pick up some serious speed going down it. But remember, there's a sharp right turn at the bottom. This bridge crosses the Soos Creek. There'll be a picnic table on your left-hand side. As you break out of this forest, look immediately to your right. On a nice day, it's an awesome view of Mount Rainier. Just ignore the high voltage power lines. The vegetation you see on the right is Himalayan blackberries. They make great pies. You can see on the map that we're coming to our first major street crossing. This is probably the most dangerous crossing because the vehicles are moving real fast. You can also see there's some unofficial parking for the trail along the side of the road. The white lines in the blacktop are showing where all the culverts go underneath the trail. You are traveling through a wetland. Speaking of wet, if you're traveling with your trusty canine, on the right hand side there's a stream that flows year round. You'll see lots of doggy footprints coming out of it. On the left side you'll see the dead trees for the blue heron rookery, and the horse trail on the right side. You're coming up to an intersection. The trail to the left goes to the second parking lot. You want to stay to the right. Now, I filmed this in the fall when all the deciduous trees didn't have any leaves. It'll be considerably greener if you do it during the spring or summer. If you feel like sitting and admiring the scenery, they do have benches along the trail. The next road you're going to cross is kind of at a blind corner, so they were nice enough to put a stoplight in for you. For the bird watchers, there's a pond next to the picnic table on the left that always has ducks. We'll cross over the Soos Creek again. This neat tractor is a leaf blower. They put a tremendous amount of effort into maintaining this trail in pristine condition year-round. And as you can see by all the trees, there's a lot of leaf blowing that has to go on. To your left is a hill, to the right is a lot of swamp. And the horse trail continues on the left. Wow, that guy walks fast. Yes, we did slow down a little bit. There's a bit of a hill here. It's not steep, but it's there. At about this point, we're going to break out of the woods and into the clearing. The clearing was actually made by the people that put in the high voltage power lines. For the bird watchers, this is the area where you look for your hawks and your eagles. Since there are no trees, this stretch of the trail actually tends to get kind of warm during the 1 or 2 days that we actually have sun in this state. Coming up on the left are a lot more blackberries for your pies. The trail will come up to another road. It's a dead-end road, so there's usually like maybe 2 cars a year that drive on it. Turn right onto the road, go down it for a little bit, and then turn left back onto the trail. As soon as you turn onto this trail, go over to the right-hand side of it, next to that brown post sticking out of the ground. You'll see a culvert where the water goes underneath the trail. If the water level is just right, you'll see neat whirlpools occurring. But if you're so inclined, it even looks better when you crawl underneath the water and take a look at it from below. Hopping back on the bicycle, let's continue on down the trail. This section of the trail is marshland. This is where you'll find your ducks and your red-winged blackbirds. The next road you're going to cross actually goes to a little housing development, so very little traffic. During the winter when we have heavy rains, this road may have 2 or 3 inches of water across it. The large green plants on the left are called skunk cabbage, and during certain times of the year you'll understand why they call them skunk. You'll cross the Soos Creek again on this bridge, but you'll see a pond on the right-hand side. A 20-foot leash should be long enough to make it down into the water. This area through here is a manicured lawn with picnic tables and a great place to have lunch. The buildings on the left are barns for horse boarding. Immediately on the other side of this intersection, you'll find the main parking lot for this trail, as well as the park. The little path on the right leads off to a viewing area for the creek. This part of the trail was recently constructed. Since the government Bugs and Bunnies people got involved, you'll find a lot of it is raised concrete up above the ground. Or actually, I should say the swamp. And this is the last intersection you'll have to deal with. They actually have a stoplight here for you. On your left, you'll find a lot more blackberries. This is the bottom end of that other steep hill that I was talking about earlier. Coming up on your left is an access trail that goes to a major residential area. This is it. You're on the home stretch. Again, look to your left, and you'll see a couple dogs that will be barking at you. And barking, and barking. Going straight, the path ends at the road, and turn left, you'll hit the parking lot. That's all there is to show. Thanks for watching.